Hi, my name is Lexi Lashway, and this is my Technology Portfolio Final for my class EDU 333. Final Portfolio, we had to compare projects that we did in class to the ISTE standards for educators, which are as follows: learner, leader, citizen, collaborator, designer, facilitator, and analyst. As we go through the portfolio, we'll talk a little bit more about each of the different ISTE standards for educators and what they are. First ISTE standard for educators that we're going to go over is learner. And the project that we did that goes along with learner is the Screencast-O-Matic. Learner is about educators continually improving their practice by learning from and with others and exploring proven and promising practices that leverage technology to improve students' learning. Screencast-O-Matic is the tool that I'm using right now. It is a free screen recorder for instant screen capture and sharing the on-screen Cast-O-Matic to YouTube or as a video file. It is completely web-based, so you can use it straight from your browser. Some pros for Screencast-O-Matic are it's easy for educators to learn without being present, it's free, it's easy to upload, and does not offer many. The cons are Screencast-O-Matic is a free screen recorder for instant screen capture and sharing on Screencast-O-Matic, YouTube, or to save as a video file. It is completely web-based, so you can use it straight from your browser. Pros of using Screencast-O-Matic is that it's easy for educators to teach without being present in the classroom. It's also free. It's easy for uploading too. You can upload it straight to YouTube or any other site that you choose. Some cons, though, are it does not offer many features. Whenever you go on straight to Screencast-O-Matic.com, the only thing you can really do is record. The sound quality is okay, but it's noticeably different from the original whenever you're recording yourself and from the uploaded file to YouTube or whatever other site that you choose. It also only allows 15 minutes of free recording time, and then you must upgrade to premium. Our next ISTE standard for educators is Citizen. Citizen is educators inspire students to positively contribute to and responsibly participate in the digital world. I chose copyright laws as our activity for this section. First of all, what is copyright law? Copyright law is the bundle of exclusive rights granted to the creator or an individual of work of authorship that has been fixed in a tangible form. What rights do copyright grant the creator? Well, they have exclusive control over the production of their work, the creation of derivative work based on their work, distribution of their work, and public performance or display of their work. How long does copyright protection last? The lifetime of the author plus 70 years. Discuss copyright law a lot in class when doing projects such as these. As you can see, I have the web address where I got this picture from down below, just so I'm not copywriting it and it's not considered plagiarism. Copyright is mostly for protection of the author, so they have their original works kept and not used over and over and over again where they're not getting the proper credit. ISTE standard for educators is collaborator. Collaborator is educators dedicating their time to collaborate with both colleagues and students to improve practice, discover and share resources and ideas, and to solve problems. I chose Nearpod for my collaborator section to talk about. Here we have our example of the Nearpod that we did in class. As you can see up here is a code that students can go onto the Nearpod as students and type in the code in the corner that I would distribute to my class, and they would be added in on this lesson. Now, of course, this is just a sample, so this one isn't teaching or anything like that, but we made ones that had our name, and we could add different sections to it. So we added on here, I could add a planet. So I added a planet, and you can look around and see the moon and drag it. So next we have a simulator, which I chose multiplication. So you can choose your level, and we'll pick the easier one. And then you get questions. So 3 times 6, and you would type in the answer and check it. And it gives you little points, and it adds it up. And then if you do 4 times 6 and you get it wrong, you think it says adding, and you do 10, it tells you no and to try again. So it's a really great tool to have if you're not teaching per se, but you give the code out to your class and you can add this as a homework assignment and they can tell you what score they got and stuff like that. Or you can do it all in class and they can try to get it done then. We have I really enjoy. So I chose jellyfish for this one, and you would just add activities on here. They're already set up for you, some are already done. And it pretty much gives you an entire lesson on the jellyfish. So there's an introduction, you can go to their habitat, all this stuff is already on here for the students to learn about. So they can just go on here, read about it. There's all these different slides that they can scroll through. There's class activities. It's really, really great to have these on here, just to throw them on if you don't have the time to create them or whatever the case may be. Is there's already some on there that have just so much information and are really, really helpful to the students, and they're really fun to look at. They're just really pretty. This was a sample of mine, and I really enjoyed this picture and all it had to offer, so I chose it. You can add in little drawings or stuff like that. You can also add in little boxes for them to draw in or a little template, but I just put draw a cat, and on the students version they would have a little pen and stuff at the bottom and they would be able to draw the cat however they please. So I think this is really cool for the younger age kids that are trying to figure out their animals, or if you're doing a chart of something and students need to draw it and label it and know the certain numbers. It's a really great tool. This next thing is a memory test. So you can click on these pictures of the cats, and I happen to get them right. I'm pretty sure that one was wrong. That one was wrong. But you can just go through and do them, and it's really cool to do whatever the topic may be, especially for younger kids that you can't really grab their attention as quickly and you can't keep it for as long. You can just add one of these in there, and it's really fun little ending kind of tool to have. So here are some questions as well. You can ask, have a little test at the end. So mine was, do cats have fur? And this isn't set up right because this is in the view, but it would say, do cats have fur? Answer A would be yes, they do. Answer B would be no, and the students would be able to click and go through, and then it would give them at the end how many correct they got, how many incorrect they got. But since I'm in teacher, Quad is a really great tool, but there are some cons to it. So some of the cons can be that if you project this up on the board, which you can, and you can make it live learning lesson for the classroom, going through the quizzes and stuff, some kids can be self-conscious of what they're doing, and if they have to add their name in, they can be too scared to get something wrong, and if it's timed, kids might get a little bit upset. And some pros are, though, that it's really, really universal, and there's a lot of different features that you can use, and it's really driven to a lot of different age groups. You can do some things like the drawing section for younger kids, I think is great. The memory test for a little ender is great because, no one really needs the memory test, but it's a really great tool. And then the other, the activity with the jellyfish, that was just out of this world. That is such a great tool to have. Another thing bad about that is that it can create some laziness for teachers. They can just add this in, and not that they're stealing the work of somebody else that made this, but it's probably not geared towards the testing that they're doing. It's more geared towards whoever made this testing. So that can be a con too, but it is really great to look at. It's really easy to go through, and yeah, it is really great. But then another problem is if you take this home with you, if you have the kids take it home, is they can't ask you questions. If you give this as a lesson, a take-home lesson for, let's say, a day where it's a snow day or something like that, they can ask you questions if you didn't know something like they would be able to in the classroom. But of course, if they're in the classroom, that wouldn't matter. But those are just some pros and cons of using Nearpod. Next section of ISTE standards for educators that I chose is Designer, which is educators designing authentic, learner-driven activities and environments that recognize and accommodate learning variability. I really love this section because it is open to a lot of diversity and a lot of creativity where, like it says, you are the designer and you make whatever you want, especially on these two sites, the Voki and Powtoon. They're really, really great tools to drive creativity and drive diversity and being unique and doing things that are a little bit different. So my Voki that I used was just about myself, and you got to choose the background, you got to choose the face that you wanted, the hair you wanted, the eyes, everything that you wanted which was really, really great. Some pros and cons of Voki were that it was easy to make, like it was super easy to just put all this together. It was super easy to like add text in, and you could use whatever different language or anything like that you wanted. So it was really diverse and really unique for all different types of students and wherever they may be and wherever they, whatever language they speak, they could all use this very well. Some cons are, though, that the cost. There is a lot of features that you can't use unless you upgrade, which sucks, but it is a great tool to have and to be able to use. And it's great for students to post, like they can post about it in a classroom setting, and they can all learn a little bit about each other. They can create little sentences or little phrases about themselves where the whole class can learn about them, or teachers can send this out to their students and get the students to know a little bit more about them. It's just a really great tool for getting to know people and for showing all different sides of people. The next tool we used in class is Powtoon. The Powtoon that I created was 5 pieces of advice for upcoming college freshmen. And the Powtoon website is really, really great for creating presentations like this, because you can add in from the Powtoon site, they add in their own voice recorder, which can be good, can be bad. Their voice recorder isn't the best, which is one of the cons. But one of the pros is that it's really, really colorful and animated, and I uploaded this picture and then added the words into it and added this little person to look like a teacher, like welcoming the kids in. And going through the PowerPoint or the presentation, you can pick different features it writes out for you. You can add in little animations, like they were wiggling. You can add in music, like you can add things in to go in. And I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want it to talk over me. But you can just add in all this stuff and add in all these cute little animations, and it's just a really fun site. Another con is it can be really distracting for students to watch it because there's so much going on and things are popping in and out all the time. But that's just with any PowerPoint slideshow, really. A couple pros are that it is very animated, though, so it's a pro and a con. It's really, really easy to use and to upload, so that's great too. Another con can be the cost. A lot of websites and stuff like this have a cost to use better features, like more advanced features. You have to pay for premium or whatever. This is one of them. But all the stuff that they have on there, I mean, I could make all this work the way that it was. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I really, really, really loved Powtoon and using it, and I'll definitely be using it in the future. So for the next ISTE standard is Facilitator, which is educators facilitating learning with technology to support students' achievement of, this one says 2016 with 2018 student standards. So I chose Google Forms and Survey for my Facilitator section. And here's Google Forms Survey. It's really, really great. You can add in questions and have them answer different, with multiple choice. You can also add in different, like longer answer, like short answer questions. And then to get this out, you can just send it and share it to other people. So you can have multiple people on here read their reviews and see what they think of not only this site itself, but whatever you're talking about. You can make these about anything. You can make them as long as you want, and you can share them with whoever you want, which I think is really great. It makes it really universal. So also Google Docs is a great site to use because they're pretty much the same thing. It's just Google in general is great to use because you can share it and add in different people that you want and anybody that you want to be able to see it. So QR codes is this little thing over here that I created with my contact information, but a QR code is abbreviated as a quick response code and is a trademark of a type of matrix barcode first designed in the automotive industry in Japan. But it's a machine-readable code consisting of an array of black and white squares typically used for storing URLs and other information by reading from a camera on the smartphone. So all you would need to do is get the QR code reader app, scan this barcode, and you would get all of my information. You'd get my name, my email, my address, my phone number, which is a great way to give out business cards and stuff like that. I think it's a really cool tool. And I just gave the idea to my stepmom. She is the head of my brother's football league. So their online ordering has a QR code on it of the website that you go on and order your apparel. I gave her the idea. She set up the website. It's really, really great. The parents are loving it. Some pros